Good afternoon, people. Welcome back to the BT Press and MUFC Realist TV this afternoon show. How are you all doing? It is Thursday today, and it's me, M&M, Mick, and Mark in the studio today. Today's top story, what we're going to discuss to you as a community global fan base, is 100% Antony Martial, the transfer update. Is he staying? Is he going? Is he dodging a bullet? Yeah, we're going to talk about this. Well, he's clearly saying that he's injured, but Ten Hag is kind of forcing him out to say, you're going to train with the kids. He's doing another Jadon Sancho. Stop to story number 2. We're going to talk about Benzima transfer rumors. Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea. Is it fake news? Is he really coming? Is he really staying? Is he really just playing this for the gallery? Will he return back to Saudi? Let's talk about that one as well. Top story number 4, of course, or number 3. Sorry, it's number 3. Roy Keane slams Bruno Fernandes saying, you're killing us, you're costing us, and you're not good enough. And we're going to talk about that as a community as well. And finally, last but not least, with Mark Nurse, we're going to talk about the latest and greatest transfer news. Let's do this, people. Let's get into the game. It's showtime. It's showtime.
Welcome back to MUFC Realist TV and Beat the Press. Please stay tuned to find out these top stories with your host, Mick Ruby. Welcome to Beat the Press. Here we go.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, we'll go. Let's go. Good afternoon, people. It is afternoon in Europe, in Central European time. It's 4 p.m. UK, 5 p.m. Berlin time, Stockholm time, whatever you call it. And it's actually 11 o'clock p.m. time in Thailand when I'm sitting. I'm still waiting for Mark Nurse to come in. As usual, Mark is late, but they call us M&Ms, Mick and Mark. And as a community, we're going to discuss the latest and greatest news today. But before we continue, just want to do the traditional shout everyone out that is making to the stream, and make sure you actually do hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. The like button, you know how it looks like. It looks something like similar. I don't know. I'm not going to be laughable. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to be petulant like Bruno Fernandes. But at the end of the day, the like button, you know how it looks like, guys. I don't have to educate you. The like button is so important in YouTube's algorithm. It's not looking like this because that's the middle finger to the glazers, but the like button looks like that. Simple. Press it right now, right here. If you have a subscription, it's fine. You don't have to subscribe, but otherwise you just enable us to grow better and be better. And, your count matters at the end of the day. So big up to all of you. Big up to all of you. Lillis United is here, is always here first to say, yo, he's first. 100% you're first. Lillis, if you were a twin, if you have a twin brother, would you also say to your twin, hey, I came out first? And who came first, the chicken or the egg? You let me know, my friend. Big up to you. Twalumba Piri as well with the Grace Jones picture. Big up to you as well. I actually love your profile picture. Grace Jones, one of the 80s, 90s great movie actress as well, an action-packed heroes. Y'all mean what she's saying here. United cannot afford Benzima now. Can they? He's too expensive. Yeah, it's like, how much is he on, to be honest? Is he on 400k a week? I mean, there is a little bit conflicting reports. He's dodging the Dubai training camp. He doesn't want to return back to Al Ittihad, and his agents is looking, and then his lawyers is speaking, and is he going? Is he staying? He's not happy. He's not settled. He had a little fallout with the club and the new manager, XYZ. We're going to dive into that story, so stick around to that one. Big up for you mentioning that, Jolly, as well. Let me know how you're doing, but how's the weather in Norway? I hear it's freezing cold as well. What you're saying here, Jolly, as well. Every time I see that thumb popping up, I want to break it. Which thumb? That one. Oh, yeah. You mean that thumb? Oh, this one. You want to see it again? Nah. You're not going to see it again. I know you. I know the thumb. You mean this one. You can try to break this one. Physical. You have to travel all the way to Thailand to break it, mate. Anyway, big up to you, man. Big up to you. Sim is here. Kenny Fan TV, I can see you. Bruno is part of the problem. It's not just him. That's interesting that you mentioned that, Piri, to be honest. Excuse me if I say Piri. I'm a little bit word blind, so I'd rather use the last name because that I can read. He's just part of the problem, true. if you look at the entire squad, it looks a little bit unbalanced. It's all, if you look at the heat map, everything goes to the right, to the left, nothing goes to the right. And who plays on the left side is Marcus Rashford together with Bruno, with no zonal awareness or discipline. But if you look at it, like, from a pressing point of view, Bruno is the only one currently pressing in that team. Like, he's leading the press. Rashford doesn't lead the press. Ericsson cannot press. And Garnacho doesn't press either. So it is what it is. And some people say, what is the style of play at the moment? I can arguably say that Ten Hag tried to implement his high intensity pressing football. Ragnick tried to, but these players don't have the capacity or understanding because they're used to parking the bus and play transitional, hit them on the break counter football. So I believe that Ten Hag, actually, it's my opinion though, when you look at this season, he's like, okay, full of injuries. I don't have the capacity. They don't have the running capacity or the technical ability. So just going to revert by what they know best, what they've been coached for the past 6 years, counter-attacking football, park the bus, even at Old Trafford. Invite your guests to take all your prized belongings and see them out the door, and give them a tea and biscuits and everything else, and we cannot even hold the lead. So yeah, you're right. It is a kilometer. Basically everything is part of the problem at the moment, with the takeover, with the injuries, with the scandals, with Ten Hag not being able to get what he wants. There's no budget there's no value in the market for the January window because everything has been pre-planned. Credit cards been maxed out. It is a problem of everything anyway. Yeah, so I agree with you, she's saying that anyway. So I will give you a thumbs up for that one as well. Kenny Fan TV, big up from Australia, all the way from Sydney, Australia. What you saying? Wake me up when the transfer market is over. There's two songs that pops in my mind here, Kenny. One is the Avicii song. So wake me up when it's all over. You know that song. And another song goes by Wham or George Michael's. Wake me up before you go. So I hear you. And yeah, sorry for my bad voice. I should be auditioning to, UK's Got Talent. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway, so that's what it is, guys. And to be fair, to be honest, like, it feels like it. Like this season feels like we parked the Ferrari in the garage, we locked it with the auto key, and say, "Wake me up before you go." And that's going to be in the summer, apparently. Like, so big up to Kenny for coming in with your comments. Sim, what you're saying here as well, guys. By the way, you can see yourself in the chat as well. Jarvis Cocker is here as well. Big up Jarvis as well. Big up. Let me just throw everything I see here. Sim, what you saying? Sim. Jamie Wynn still owes 200 quid to charity. What's that all about, Jamie? What did you make for a bet for charity? Interesting. And I know somebody owes us an Eminem rap, and his name is Mark Nurse. He's always coming late. Either he's having a number 2 or number 1, or sending a slow mail to China. But anyway, big up Mark Nurse for finally make it. How you doing, Mark?
Big up to everyone in the chat. I hope everyone is having a good day. I'm sorry I'm late, guys. It is sometimes Trini time. It's worked. It's bad.
It's Trini time. I was sending a slow mail to China, what you did the other day too.
Yeah, I was kind of taking a page out of Kenny's book, sleeping until the transfer window is over, because I don't think anything much is going to be done. There's lots of rumors around, there's lots of talk going around, but the real talk should be about outgoings. And I'll focus on that because we really want Antony Martial to leave this January window, and it would benefit our club greatly if he does.
Well, that's it. There's conflicting reports going out. It's going mad on Twitter today. Of course, he was linked to Ferenbache and the Turkish Galatasaray as well. His agent is doing his bits, but there was a tweet.
You forgot Inter Milan, Mick.
Inter Milan as well, yeah. Inter Milan. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there was like, if we talk about it, is he staying? Is he going? Because there was a tweet today to say that Antony Martial, I said I kind of read it. I'm not going to display it. But Ben Jacobs reported earlier today that Antony Martial's agent, Philippe Lambolet, I don't even know how to pronounce it in proper French, but Philippe Lambolet denies to Sky that his client is training alone, basically. There's reports to say that he's in the doghouse, like, Ten Hag is treating him, giving him the Jadon Sancho treatment. Lamboy say that Martial has a hip injury and adds he will stay at Manchester United until June. So that is his agent doing the talking, because try to force us out. Like, we still have the power. You can still pay us 300K a week, and you can stink at the place as much as you want and claim that you have injuries, right, Mark? What's your thoughts regarding that before I continue reading the rest of the tweet?
In my honest opinion, it just sounds like a player's agent making an excuse so he can earn money while
Oh, yeah.
we just foot the bill for him just relaxing and watching us and not helping us this season. And, a lot of people talk about Anthony Martial's mental health. What about Manchester United fans' mental health? What about Manchester
Yeah,
United's
true.
financial health? You know what I mean? This guy, I like him. To be fair, when he came to the club, I'm pretty sure everyone was like me, fancied Martial. He came with a high ceiling, lots of talent, lots of ability, lots
100%.
of promise. But over the last decade, he has not really delivered for us. He's
Not
just
being
not came
consistent.
up and not consistent, not available either. And availability is the key. If
Mm,
every season we look back in history and we say, look, he was available for 20 of the 48 or 54 games that we played on average. That's
mm,
almost half 5 years he's just been lounging. And I'm
yeah.
and I'm not going to be unfair and say he's been lounging, but he's probably been injured or unavailable, and it's
But
not
when
good enough.
but when he's been on form, when he's been like, happy, he's delivered. Like, and that is the Martial I remember, But consistency, you got to do it like season after season. So this is a project that never kind of kicked on, like, 9 years at the club. At the end of the day, I really remember one excellent goal. It was the first season when Bruno came in January, the first game they played together, and that free kick. If you remember that free kick when Bruno just out of nowhere just did a chip over the wall, right? And Anthony just took it down and smashed it in. If you remember, I think it was City. I can't remember. Do you remember that
Mhm.
goal? Beautiful goal, right? So he's got some magical tricks. Apparently very contempt, like, doesn't really like to talk. Um, but 9 years at the club and never sort of being consistent and scoring not even 30 goals or 25 goals whatsoever. I think it's time to go. And you still pay him 300K a week, so I can understand. But from a player perspective, what the agent is saying here, that if I continue reading this tweet, to say then Anthony will not leave in January. He will stay until his contracts end in June. Why? Because they can do so, right? Either way, the agent, if earns the money now, if there is, let's say if we sell him to Galatasaray, some Serie A club or whatever, makes a small percentage. But if he leaves as a free agent, sign-on fee bonus, agent and the player makes more money. And what is today's game? It's not about football. It's
About
about
money,
money,
power of the
money, money.
dollar.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So what is said about him completely false, according to his agent. What he's saying here, he's not excluded from the group, and he has no problem with the coach, according to his agent. But the agent is actually doing the 360 management of the player, including his PR, including paying his bills, including being his marriage counselor, X, Y, Z. They do the 360. I know because I used to work in the market as a intermediate, right? So I know the tricks of the trader. He's simply going to undergo a small operation on his abductors, which he should have done for a while. So basically, abductors. What is abductors anyway? Is that hamstrings or abdominals? I don't know.
No, the adductor muscles are the muscles that help with your movement, the way you twist and the way you turn. It also
Shoulder,
it also
hips.
gives you that burst of energy, that gives you that explosive power. So if his abductors are giving trouble, man, you could
Yeah, he's
understand why
done.
he has not
He's
been
done.
explosive for the last few months.
Then he's
But that
done.
even makes it more like, if you put it down the middle, it's hard for the club, it's hard for the player, because at this point it's almost untenable. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So what, we're gonna pay you while you recover from your abductor surgery for the next 2-3 months.
yeah.
The season ends, you get paid out, and we get nothing. You know what I
So
mean?
in layman's term, the abductors is like the cogwheel in your car that makes the rem spins and makes the speed of the car. Now it's rusty, right? So it's not moving that fast. It's not. It's just rusty. But it's sad, like, because it's been widely reported that he's been injury prone with hamstrings and everything else. But if you look at it, half of it might be true. Half of it is the club that is kind of looking to force him out, to say, well, we don't want you in the club. We don't want you to pay. We've seen that Ratcliffe wants to, and Brailsford, they want to sort of optimize the wage bill, just trim down the lean machine. And he's part of the problem, together with Casemiro, high earners, and Rafael Varane. Jadon Sancho, the problem is gone, but Antony Martial sits on the third, or so fourth, next to Rashford, right, in wage bill. So, of course, the club wants to get rid of him, because it was also widely reported when I spoke to Graham Bailey from 90 Minutes to say, will we get a striker in January? And Graham just upright told me, depends what happens to Martial, right? So, is it the agent playing the tricks here, or is it the truth? 50-50. What do you reckon?
Well, in my honest opinion, I think the agent is doing a good job in all accounts, because he's
Playing
clear.
both hands.
Yeah, he's letting it known that Erik ten Hag is not pushing him out. He's not being forced out like the reports are saying, which paints a negative light on the club and the management. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you have to just look at the fact that right now it's a bad situation in all regards. He's a player not performing. Manchester United needs a player in his certain caliber, or in his vicinity, in his job description as a striker, to come in and perform to help the team, because we are lacking goals. And at the end of the day, it's like, what do we do? Do we release him? Do we terminate his contract? Do we wait on give him time to go through his surgery? But who does that benefit? How could it benefit both player and club? And this is what I'm looking at. Because at one point, you can always say Manchester United has done things badly, and then what about the players? But at some point, you have to go down the middle as a fan, because whether or not you like the players, if the player goes tomorrow, you're still going to be a Manchester fan. So you have to think
Yeah,
about
not
the club as
true.
well.
True.
It's a
Now,
50-50.
I look at it from a player side as well, from a balance perspective, as an ex-player management intermediate on the market. So, I look at from that side, because club is not taking care of the player alone. Club take care of the whole squad. It's the agent that take care of the player. I mean, everything from 360, from paying the bills, the medicals, everything, the PR, it's all outsourced to the agent side. And that's how they make money out of it. So, of course, you want what's best for your future of your client. You want to make money at the same time as an agent, because it's costly. You only make money on PR deals, and you only make money during the transfer window as well on your clients. So yeah, certainly, I would look at my client side, what's best for my player, and I would advise him X, Y, Z. I think it's better, because I don't care about the club. I care about my client if I'm the agent, right? And I put out fillers to everyone to let them know, in a PR, using that information tool. Then I start playing the chess game with, utilizing different clubs, you know what I mean, Galatasaray, Ferenbache, to play against each other, because you want to sort of increase the evaluation of your client at the end of the day. So I see it from that side of it as well. But from a fan perspective, I hear and I echo what you are saying. But from a legal standpoint, I look at Martial is in the right here. Right? Martial can stay. He's not forced to leave, right? And it makes more sense for him than to just say whatever. I'm just going to blame it on injury. Maybe I'm having the abductor surgery, and I'm just going to sit out and get paid out to the end of the season and leave on a free. But on the other hand, if you're injured, right, who wants to sign an injured player in the summer? Question mark. It's a chess game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's better in this kind of way when an agent has diplomacy. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where, as fans, you can see that the club needs new. We need new air in the club. We need new players to come in. We need these players to leave, regardless if you're a fan of Rashford, Bruno, Martial, Shaw, McTominay. You name them, they can leave. They are all here for a period of time, and I'm sure we appreciate their services, and we support them every day. They put on the shirt, they get out on the pitch. We back them in private as well, to make sure they know they have a sustainable, they know the fans support them. But at the same time, we still have to support our club. And the club has to do what's right for the club at some point. And going forward, if we want this team to change and we want to see change in this club, we have to change the team. And that means the individual players have to change. And
Yeah,
that's what
100%.
changes the ethos and the culture. And it's good that an agent could keep things in a level diplomacy, because He's not trying to make the club look bad. He's not trying to make the player look bad. He's trying to just keep it in the middle. And that keeps everything nice and cordial. And I respect that from his agency. I think they're doing a good job with him. I hope other players would have agents of that caliber, to be fair.
Hmm. Yeah, and just guys who want to see that I'm referenced to a tweet, it's just basically going, to show you, like, this is the tweet what we are talking about from Ben Jacobs, 100% that he's claiming that Antony Martial agent Philippe Lamboy denies everything and said he will not go. He will actually stay here during the remaining of the season. And I don't know, Mark. I think that it is sad. We are heavily dependent on him departing in this summer, I mean, in January, in order to even get a chance to get a lone striker in or any type of player, right?
Yeah, and that's the difficult situation that we're in. You know what I mean? Because as a fan of the club and as a fan of some of the players on the team, you want what's best for them. You want to see them succeed, but you also want the club to succeed. And right now, if he's gonna do surgery and he's gonna be out for like 6 to 12 weeks, that's 3 months
Yeah,
anyway. He's not gonna be available until what, May, June? That makes no sense.
that
We
makes no
might
sense.
as well try to cut ties, keep it cordial, and get someone in to fill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What is your thoughts and feelings, viewers in the VR room? Let us know your thoughts and feelings if you're watching this post after, like, in the match of the day. Leave a comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think about this current situation. I certainly believe that, if we can do a small little poll here, guys, for you that are here, smash number 1 if you think that it's okay, like he's on the right to stay. 2, you want him gone, right? Or maybe I should rephrase it. 1, you want him out. 2, he has the right to stay. I certainly see it from both angles as balanced approach. I see it that he's in the right at the end of the day, but as what you said, number 2 is as a fan, yeah, knowing our financial situation. I mean, by the way, the financial reports came out today, and I was watching Sam Peoples as well talking about how badly we are. We're actually heading towards administration, like with 1.2 billion in total generated debts, right? So it is absolutely a madness, and you can imagine, like, Brailsford and Sir Jim Ratcliffe now getting like the headache to look at how we're going to master this. And the only thing they can do is basically cut down all the costs. That means we're going to see a lot of sales of academy players, going to see a lot of even, I don't know who's going to be safe. Like, will they sell Bruno? Will they say Rashford? Will they sell Casemiro? Will they sell Varane just to survive? So it's kind of a little bit of a survival mode to build up from the ground and up again, Mark. And this is kind of the notion that I'm getting from this, evaluation bid, what they are trying to do, right? We seen the story yesterday. We're not going to talk about. We did a 2-hour podcast about that, like, who is lying, who to believe. The SEC filings. It's been doing the rounds, like, and Sheikh Yassim 92 Holding Foundation is kind of claiming that this is false news. And you know what? They can actually sue them, right? Because the filings that they reported is kind of say, we want to see the original filings because this is not correct what you're submitting. So they can sue them for, what do you call it, misinformation. And this can open up a Pandora's box, a can of worms that is going to be like an investigation. And part of me as a fan, they hope that they're going to look into the Glazers' finances that forced them to sell. Similar what they did to Chelsea, like with the forced Abramovich, like, and otherwise they're going to put the club in administration. So within 3 months, you got to find a suitor. And that is just a wild thought that popped in my mind, Mark, as well.
100%. And like I was just laughing there because Mario Icardi, a resident
Oh,
Galatasaray fan, is coming in. Icardi to United, and you know what? I
no,
mean, I'd
Icardi,
rather.
like, yeah, Mario Icardi, he's a, what are you, Galatasaray fan, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
know what I mean?
Mauro Icardi, Galatasaray fan. Do you want Anthony Martial to your club? Let us know. Say
And
yes or
swap it
no.
over, or you
Swap
know
it.
what? To be honest, Mick, I'd pretty much. I know a lot of people might have different reasons for some things, but I'd take Benzema in a heartbeat. I don't know about you guys. I think he checks all the boxes. He checks a Glazer box because he's shirt seller. Then he checks the boxes as a footballer, and I
Glazer box.
think his monster mentality and his experience is going to be vital, like to help move
Right.
our young players forward, especially like Ahmad and
Okay.
Garnacho, Hoyland. These guys could learn a lot from the guy. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
and that with that said, it transitions over to the next story. Benzema to Manchester United or fake news? According to the report saying Karim Benzima next club Arsenal, Manchester United among five potential destinations for United. Maybe, Mark. I don't know what she's saying here. Did you read that report? And by the way, there was another report to come out to say that his agent and lawyer are sort of kind of rejecting the accusations to say he will remain, he will sort this out, basically. Um, but still, the rumors will not go away. Like, they're kind of looking to get him a move to any Premier League club, and Manchester United be linked to them. Chelsea needs a striker. Arsenal needs a striker. But the salary, man, the salary is reported 400K a week. That is the stumbling block, mate.
In a way, yeah, but it's not really because Rashford is on 375K. He's what, 2 goals for the season. I'm pretty sure if we gave Benzema 18 games, he had at least 10. You know what I mean?
Right, so I'm going to dive into this story, Mark. I'm going to have a zip on my coffee. And guys, while I do that, guys, please do not forget that thumbs. You can break my thumb, but if you want to do that, you have to travel to Thailand to at least try. We can do a thumb wrestle, but the thumbs up is so important for this video. And thank you for all the lovely thumbs yesterday. We achieved about 160 likes on yesterday's video. That was a big one. Thank you so much. Now I want to get into this story basically, and yeah, let's do this together. Basically, Karim Benzema is already been linked to move away from Al Ittihad, and if you watch Piggy, Flying Pig United, he said Al Titi something. I don't
No,
know.
no, that's
Al
not
Titi.
Itifak. That's the next one.
Al,
That's the one that name I
Al
had.
Ittihad. Oh yeah, yeah. And several huge clubs around Europe are sniffing around the former Real Madrid star. Look, when he was playing at Real Madrid, when he started to shine, when Cristiano Ronaldo, left, he came as a late bloomer. My God, he was such a fantastic striker. He's aged 36, per my understanding. Despite scoring 15 goals across all competition, all is now well for Benzema in Saudi Arabia. The 36-year-old has been part of Al Ittihad side who have fallen well below expectations and currently seventh in the league. It's also well reported that he's been having a fallout with the head coach Marcelo Gallardo, to be honest, and that is kind of the reason. So the ones that have been linked in is Arsenal, definitely looking for a striker. Manchester United is also in for it. They are like kind of like agent is talking to them, like filling out the fillers 100%. Hey, it's me, you Benzema agent. You want 400,000, yeah? Yeah, we don't have money. Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate. So who's going to afford his wages unless he compromise? Chelsea is also looking for a striker. They have this young Jackson. Is kind of so. I don't know really. I mean, Chelsea. What all they need is a potential striker, and still they have that calamity. Are ex players in who ex Manchester United. Romelu Lukaku
Yeah, you
with,
know
with the
that
big head. With the big
another
head.
failure that came to the
Another
club.
failure. And yeah, even PSG is looking. Real Madrid potentially maybe take him back, but this is a loan for the rest of the season. Now let's start with this one first, guys, because I want to engage with the community. Number one, will you take him to Manchester United for the remaining of the season? And two, if we do, does this stop development of Rasmus Højlund? Right, I want to hear from you right now. One, you like him. Two, no, it will it will hinder the development of Rasmus Højlund. I want to hear from you, Mark. What do you think? You're looking
Think
giddy there,
Yeah,
like a cat.
because I mean, like, who says no to Benzema? Like, let's be real
Base.
out here. Like, we know that. Okay, let's not be too giddy. He's not going to score 30 goals. He probably might score 15 in our team. He's more experienced than Rasmus, I think with the opportunities and the way he plays in our team, he would get at least enough opportunities that he probably would score 15 goals. And that could help our season drastically this season. You know what I mean? And I think with his experience, his ability, he will demand respect from everybody in the dressing room. He's good friends with Varane. He's good friends with Casemiro. Boom, there's
Oh,
a spine there up the middle. One, two, three.
I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
of course, they know each other. Varane, Casemiro, they were ex-teammates in Real Madrid. Of course, you wouldn't say no to that. But at the end of the day, it comes down to money. Like, can you pay us, right?
I mean, It's Manchester United, Mick. Like people act like if the Glazers don't like shirt
Oh,
sellers.
it is a shirt signing, but
It's a
can
shirt
they?
seller.
I mean, we obviously now the financial reporting is coming out is not so bad. We actually do have money to spend, but everything has already been pre-decided in the October-November meeting, and they never calculate January anyway. They always look for the summer spending, and they come up with the same excuse in January. Well, there's no value in the market. We don't have any money. Yeah.
Well, maybe it never had a value in the market like this. This is a steal. 6 months, 6 months. All right, let me put it like this, right? On business, in business terms, right? Let me talk about business here, money wise, right? 400K a week is negotiable. This is Manchester United we're talking about, right?
Oh, wait.
Could we
400K a week, and they're trying to get rid of players that are on 300K a week.
right? But that don't mean it doesn't mean we can't afford it. I mean, Jaden Sancho is gone. His wage bill is clear for the
But do
rest
you
of the
think
season.
John Murtaugh, that actually was reported going down to Saudi and speaking to Saudi clubs, can even negotiate this? To
But
say,
you see, this
how about
is
if you pay half his wages? Like, John Murtaugh couldn't even sell a packet of crisp in the flea market in the current rates.
I mean, look at it like this, right? I don't trust this club to do proper negotiations and stuff, but I haven't for like 10 years because I've seen year after year the rubbish that they've been doing. And I mean, manager after manager come into the club and the same nonsense, the same expenditure, the same bad choices, the same thing happening all over and all over. So at
Hmm.
one point, you have to sit down and say to yourself, listen, the only thing we could trust these people to do is do what they are accustomed doing, make these kind of decisions. And I just trust that they will make this decision because they've shown that they've done it in the past. They go
Yeah.
and get a shirt seller. They go and get a shirt seller.
Yeah.
They will have no money, but they will still go and get a shirt seller.
Yeah. What is the poll thing, guys? I tell me, like, ladies and gentlemen, like, I don't know. Yeah, I take him, but if we can negotiate that, if you do have confidence in John Murtaugh to pull this deal off, to speak to his agent, because of course, people on the market saying that John Murtaugh is a nice guy, but he's very incompetent. They don't really rate him, so they kind of fool him all the time. They always pull his pants down. And if you remember the story with Veronique Rabiot as well, hello,
Yeah,
Veronique.
he
Yeah,
bought
he
her
went
dinner 3 times and
three
could only get
times.
her to sign the
Yeah.
contract once.
Yeah,
It's like,
they went on this. The other day was also a report that there was a agent player speed dating that took place for the lesser players where they meet and speed date. And maybe he met Veronique there for a speed date. She rejected him 3 times, but he took the club jet, wasted like 1 million whatever in flight costs and everything. You know, uh, and still she rejected him. So I don't think he have the capability to pull this through. Can he?
nah, that's the problem. So I think negotiating a proper deal would not happen. You know what I mean? I feel like the only way they will do it, they'll just throw money at it, give him the
Mm.
400K. And if they could
Yeah.
release Martial, just
Yeah.
consider this: we do have to pay 300K to Sancho, and
Yeah.
that's 250K for Martial. That's
Yeah.
500 and something K.
Yeah, I can see Jarvis Cocker corner say people calma, sell down. Doesn't tolerate more disruptive argument in this chat room. Yeah, please be nice because basically everyone that's viewing this, you can see like the chat going in. They can read your comments. And Realist TV, we always respect each other's opinion, but what we do respect is like don't abuse each other. You're United fans, no matter like where you are in the world. Like so, be respectful and love each other. Right, that's all what we do here for as a global community. So big up Jarvis for mentioning that. Moderators also make sure that you are moderating foul appropriate language, that everything is clean. Otherwise we are forced to use the orange card, the Simbin card, right? That hasn't been introduced yet. It-
100%, guys. Calm
yeah.
down. Let's keep it on football. Enjoy the stream. Everybody came in here to watch the stream and enjoy and have their views come across. So
Yeah,
let's just, take a step back, everybody. No matter which one of you felt offended, let's just take a step back.
it's
Move
so easy
on,
to
take a
yeah.
deep breath, exhale,
Listen,
chat,
man,
enjoy.
Manchester United this season is people are so on edge, and I do understand, including myself. It's so easy to be, offended. Like when we lose, you know, when my wife is trying to speak to me after, like I just don't talk to me, right? Like I just go spit hellfire, like because I don't like to lose, and of course everything that goes around the club, like transfer, it's agitating, it is heartbreaking, and at the end of the day, you want this club to be successful. We want to win at all costs. We want to compete. And I do understand that emotions are running high. Either if you're on estrogen or testosterone or whatever, XYZ, it always runs high up. But, never let your fear and emotions cloud your judgment. So be nice to each other. Please respect each other, love each other, and give us a thumbs up. Here comes it again. The thumbs up. Yeah. So big up. So anyway, back to the reality, like Eminem is singing, right? Up comes reality, down comes gravity, whatever. Which one? 8 Mile song, right? True? Is that the song? Up comes reality and to gravity. Yeah. Anyway, so basically, he's coming in the Benzema to reject Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal for Saudi stay, and this is basically coming out from his agent Mark as well to say that this story reads that currently Al Ittihad striker Karim Benzema will stay at Saudi Pro League beyond this month in January, according to L'Equipe. This is a L'Equipe sports writing publication. The 36-year-old has been linked with return to European football after drawing the ire of his two managers in the Middle East. He's basically in conflict, right? And his Benzema has clashed with Nuno Espirito Santos before. He left the club and has also issued with new boss Marcelo Gallardo after failing to return from holiday in time. So basically, fell out with Nuno Espirito Santos, and the new manager didn't bother to return from his holiday. Kind of what Cristiano Ronaldo did to us in the summer when he was actually moved out, right? So the problems with the manager had led to whispers that Benzema would be seeking an exit from Al Ittihad. However, it looks like Benzema will stay despite interest from Premier League clubs Arsenal, Chelsea. This is what L'Equipe is saying. So these two contradiction stories. This has been fed out by L'Equipe. They're saying that he might be staying, he might be going, but most likely he will return. But when the player is not returning back to, they're having a training camp in Dubai, XYZ, he's not there. That means that seriously, agent is actually doing the runs, talking like he did with Cristiano Ronaldo. If you remember, his agent was talking around and we were just dismissing the rumors. But at the end of the day, he forced himself out by going out speaking to Piers Morgan. And I don't know, man. Will I take him for a season? Yeah, if he scores a lot of goals, 100%. Would he expect to be starting every game as of age 36? Don't expect that. If we take him, Mark, would you just see a rotation, Højlund learning and they would just switch? Or I don't know. How do you
Yeah.
see it work? How do you see it work? If he
Well,
comes?
to be honest, I'm not going to say Benzema is going to play 90 minutes every game. There might be a game where he could play 90 minutes, but in my opinion, I would see it as him coming on to finish games, or maybe in important games coming on to set a tone. You know what I mean? And if we rotate him like first half, he come on for the first half and then they bring on Højlund on the 60th minute. That's also good because Højlund gets the opportunity to see
Yeah.
how he works during the game and how he
Yeah.
reacts to certain situations. But if
Yeah.
you start Højlund, he could even work the same way, because then he could be in the team talk at halftime to
Yeah.
tell Højlund, listen, you need to do X, you need to do
Yeah.
this better, and then he
But
could come on and show him.
I
So
show you. Yeah, that's true. I saw we deserve better, like you're saying that in the chat earlier, he made his own bed, and Ivo Bosic is definitely saying, well, nobody can afford him. And Lilis is saying, Benzema ain't coming, right? So it's another commodity player, the old school Garda, they are on high wages. And football has changed. Nobody wants to pay that big money. And I even see Real Madrid is kind of, how can they afford, will the likes of Mbappe, mega star, superstar, big money, who can afford it in the financial situation? Because inflation, players' values has gone up so high that you have to pay astronomical figures, like first the transfer fee and also their wages. So if you look at the overall expenditure with FFP, looking in everything that you do, and La Liga, okay, Real Madrid are doing well. Barcelona is, their tits up. Manchester United were just scraping by. Chelsea scraping by. Everyone is down. The COVID hit everyone high. So I just don't see these Galactico players anymore, man. I just don't. I see that era is gone with Messi going to, into Miami. Ronaldo is in Saudi Arabia. Maybe Saudi Arabia is the savior, the graveyard shift for those players like Benzema went, because they can afford the money and they're building the pro league. So they need those would I say washed out players? Not really even washed out players, like players that are coming to the graveyard kind of thing, and hey, come here, promote our league, promote our team, get some money, like big dough for 2 years and go retire, but Manchester United link for FC rumors, FM Morating, FC interesting, FC. Yeah, true, true, true. We are skint FC, what Kenneth is saying here, like in the chat as well. And Jolle Malmin is saying, and Mauro Icardi, instead of buying 10 players, buy one player, Mbappe. Is he the answer,
I
Mauro?
would never buy Mbappe in my team if I was a coach or a manager
That's
because,
that's a that's a player with too much power.
well, in a way, I mean, it's one thing if he had the level where every game, no matter who his teammates is, he guaranteed to score a goal. But the current form of Kylian Mbappe, his ego is paying more bills than his boots right now.
Mm, mm,
He's not scoring enough goals. He's not taking charge of enough games, in my opinion. And from looking at him in the Champions League, he's been subpar. Even
yeah,
Hoyland has performed better than him with more output. So,
true.
in my honest opinion, it's like, what Kylian Mbappe are you going to get? Because the Kylian Mbappe I saw 2-3 years ago, that played at the World Cup, was a different Kylian Mbappe to what I see in here
Mm,
right now.
mm,
This season, last season, this season he hasn't been on form at all.
yeah.
It's like he went to bed last season and hasn't woke up since.
Yeah. Just looking at the chat, the press is saying, is today a call-in show? Not today, my friend. It's just going to be a short and sweet. But maybe tomorrow we can do a call-in show, 100%. What else is there? Feeling Police, he said, applaud Mark for his opinions are shocking. Like Benzima, one of, I can't really read this one, to be honest.
Oh, he trying this. He's saying that I don't show all the. He say I show all the comments now from those agreeing to disagreeing. No bias from him. Respect.
Yeah, true. I mean, we can disagree to disagree. That's what we have a town hall meeting, a global fan base meeting. This is kind of like a town hall when everyone has opinions. But imagine a political party. Imagine a government. If everyone is agreeing, we will have world peace at the moment. But unfortunately, fans is like politics as well. You can never agree, and you will argue to the point. Like if you meet a bunch of Italians at the beach, they always stand in a circle, and there's 10 of them loudest on the beach arguing to the point who is the better football player. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Hey, I gonna shave your mother. No, you're not speaking.
Francesco Totti.
Take care of the family. You know what I mean? Careless 87 Saudi is the new MLS of football. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you for helping me out there, my friend. Um, Alternative or Evo Bosic is saying here as well. We can see in the chat. Don't buy anyone till after Ineos are approved, and we decide on Baltimore's future. That is the most sensible, correct opinion, I would say, because that looks like it's gonna actually transpire, Evo. I don't think that they have set the budgets already. They already pre-agreed everything for the summer, and right now the tender offer is in for acquiring the Class B and Class A shares. That's gone into the New York Stock Exchange, and until that is approved, nothing's going to happen, according to my opinion. So everything will be in the summer, right? So it's what we said earlier in these streams before: sink or swim, play with what you got, sell as much as you can, and that's what they're trying to do. Financially, we're broke, man. Yolim Almin, what you're saying here, wasn't there a talk about hiring Cavani as a coach? Is there one player I would want to learn from? It would be Cavani. Cavani as a striker coach? Is that what you're saying, Yole?
Yeah, that's not a
Whoa.
bad striker coach to have. Even Zlatan, Zlatan was a former player. He retired right now. I think Zlatan might be, as a coach. Yeah,
Yeah,
that mentality. See the mentality. You want somebody, Cavani, these guys, this is why I say about Karim Benzima, even
yeah,
though, he
Cavani.
might be 36, they have a different kind of mentality. And
Oh,
to be honest, if the
listen,
if the players don't have or share that kind of urge to want to win at this early stage in their careers, this young stage in they're not even 28 yet,
yeah,
then they are not for United.
they're not. Mark, get ready for Mick Ruby cracking dry joke. This stream is sponsored by Strongbow Cavani. They- use the Strongbow with the arrow and Cavani. Yeah, but we need a Strongbow as a coach, 100%. We need two world-class midfielders before anything. And I agree what you're saying that we deserve better. Um, we definitely need to sort out that midfield before we even go and look at the striker positions, right? Midfield, it's been diabolical, right? It's imbalanced. We're going to talk about Bruno as the next story as well. And a lot of you might be offended because Roy Keane has come out to slam. And, that's the transition to the next story. But I want to hear from you as well. Do you agree what they were saying there? Like, that what Feeling Police is saying, like, and everyone else. Like, we need to sort out the midfield. God damn it.
Yeah, like I would have liked us to get Frankie De Jong. You know what I mean? I could see what the manager wanted to do from the moment he was named as priority in the midfield. So if we could get someone close to that profile, if at all we're not able to get him for no reason, then we need to start on that train right now because although Kobe Mainu might be the new
The
register
new,
version of Frankie De Jong, maybe the manager want a backup.
yeah.
You know
How
what I
old is
mean?
Frankie now?
Frankie is like 25.
No, he's still young. He's still
He could
young.
be. I think he could be even a year younger because to me he's
Yeah.
around the same age as Matthias Delit,
And they're
and
also
Delit
in
is like
financial
24.
situation. They're all also in financial troubles, and he might have a few years left, maybe 1 or 2 years left on the contract. Maybe in the future. But Mark, listen. For 6 years, we had the same freaking problem. It's not the strikers; it's always been the midfield. From Mariam Fellaini's to you know, we even had like Nemanja Matic playing as a CDM. Our midfield have never been good enough, never for 6 years. And then people say we need to get a prolific number nine. The problem is, what do you need a number nine for if the midfield is not creative enough and crossing in and finding the striker? And that is the problem. So before we even go and get a striker, according to my opinion, you need to fix that bloody midfield. You need
100%.
ballers in the midfield, right? And Kobe Maino, yes, still young, but don't burn him out. He
True.
cannot play a single pivot by himself at this stage as of yet. So we
I
need something to build around Kobe Maino, and that is my opinion, though.
Yeah. And I think Jarvis will be upset with me, but like I've said in a few games I've seen before, like I've seen the single pivot work in such a way where it doesn't work like a single pivot because the number 8 drops back deep to provide cover for Kobe, so he's not left alone. We've seen it in quite a few games, and this is why I'm urging and I'm urgently hoping Casemiro comes back and starts the next
Yeah,
game because I think he will provide that because he naturally is a defensive player, even though he gets forward. So I think even though he gets forward, I think he will naturally drop back to a
yeah,
point where he will be providing proper coverage and guidance
yeah.
for Kobe. So
Thank
I
you,
think
guys. Chat Admiral Drex is saying 100% spot on Mick. Sam is saying it's been shite for years, 100%. But let's transition to the next story, Mark. This leads nice and perfectly over to this one that Roy Keane slams Bruno. You're killing us. You're costing us. What Roy is saying. Roy Keane is mean, is what I believe to say. So, Mark, have you read this article? Have you seen what Roy Keane has been saying? Roy Keane is all about high standards, right? Roy Keane is Roy, yeah?
But you
Oi.
see, like the argument I would make to Roy Keane is that when he was doing his job in Man United, lots of other players did their job. It was basic. You know what I mean? And we can see that in a lot of games when everyone's doing their job, Bruno performs really well. He's always one of the best players. But then when a player is dropping off, like when you have the likes of Christian Eriksen not being able to be mobile to get to passes, making missed passes, and he's not tracking back, losing his runners. Bruno has to cover for him. Then he looks crazy. He looks like a madman running all
Yeah,
over the
true.
field.
But as an
So
ex-captain, as an ex-legend of the club, as a midfielder, he is simply providing harsh criticism, right? A constructive criticism. You can argue to the point. According to this article, Mark, Roy Keane is coming out on Bruno Fernandes, calling him out for lack of discipline and positional awareness. And this is something that we fans also see, right? This is the type of Bruno is. Is it because of the system? Is it because he's just used to playing that free roaming, like, number 10 role, and he needs to have creative players around him? Similar to what we had with Paul Pogba, like, we didn't build around Pogba. Pogba was a diamond, right? Pogba was a beast in the midfield, and we just burned him out. He never sort of won anything with us, to be honest. Yes, he won Europa League with us, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's true. Even though Keane thinks he can perform magic with the ball, he feels that when United aren't winning, his off the ball work is a concern. this is why I agree to disagree, because currently you can say whatever you want about Bruno. Bruno is there like week in and week out, like playing through rain, thunderstorm, hail, lightning, never injured, but he's the only one that has a physique that could press. He's the only one that leads the press. If you look at the past recent games, Bruno is the only one running, leading the press. And sometimes he wants too much, so he's everywhere, trying. Maybe that's his style of captaincy, come on, guys. So he's a little bit everywhere right at the moment. But guys, this is going to be such a heated debate in the community, so please calm down until we finish this article. The Portuguese midfielder has been the best player at the club since joining 2020, 100% in terms of his stats and outputs, but sometimes his decision making and positioning sense can be erratic and costing us some games, including losing the ball, right?
I agree with Kenneth Hogarth here for this one. Like as much as I like Bruno and I say like he's trying to cover, sometimes you can't. You can't. Sometimes you just have to leave. You can't try. You're doing too much.
Yeah. Listen,
And
yeah, you're right there. It reminds me of that Linkin Park song, I tried so hard, but I got so fucked. In the end, nothing ever matters, Everything comes to songs in my head. Sorry, guys, it's Thursday. We're allowed to be giddy here. If you watch around in Bruno Fernandes an international level, he does the same thing with floating around. He's a floating.
yeah, but that's his role, really. But
Yeah,
if you
he's a
look at
floater.
him at international level, look at the movement of the players around him while he floating. They just run into spaces to create opportunities for him and passing lanes. Our players, some of them don't. Garnacho just be doing it. If you look how mobile Hoyland and Garnacho is be moving constantly when Bruno on the ball, right?
Mm.
Then you'll see like Antony. But when you look at other players coming into the field around Bruno on the left hand side, they are the most
Yeah, but
static side of the field.
that's such a valid point, my friend, because static mannequins, right? In order for Bruno, he pulls out some beautiful passes sometimes. Some people call it Hollywood pass, but when they come through, oh my God, they are mint, to be honest, right? The ability is there, but what you say, you need movement. You need movement. You need runners around you in order for that to work. But currently, I agree what you're saying. We are too static. When you watch us play, if you watch us back, there's no movement in that midfield. Everyone is kind of waiting. What's Bruno going to do? What's Rashford going to do? When Rashford gets the ball, he just stops and looks around and tries to take some one or two, three players and gets dispossessed. So I would say Bruno is not only the problem. The problem is also Rashford on the left, because if you look at the heat map, everything is left driven at the moment, and every mistakes, we lose most of the possession on the left side. We're not really playing on the right, and that is the weakness of the team. So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, 100%. So he basically saying like he gets away with it at Manchester United, but he's basically calling him out. Like he wants him to do better. I understand Roy Keane. He loves this team, right? And he's been witnesses like us. He's a fan like us. But at the same time, he's a pundit, right?
Exactly.
So one thing that I couldn't agree with Roy Keane did was to criticize Rasmus Højlund. Was last week, and also giving a slightly a nudge at Rashford. But they seem to protect Rashford like he's a baby. But that thing that he did, that
Yeah,
buck
you see, for me, Mick,
off.
there's a point when, like, okay, this is always my argument for Rashford, right? He's supposed to be the one player that takes all the heat because he's the star. He's wearing the number 10. Numbers have a meaning in football. Lots of teams might not have it, but every
But
team that has a number 10, he's the star man.
But it's also a trend that you go in on foreign players more than you go in on your domestic players, Mark, as well. So it's always been like that. Like in the media, in the punditry, they've been coached to say, they've been scripted to say, go on this agenda, go on this agenda. At the end of the day, like Sky, they pay Roy Keane, they pay Gary Neville to have opinions, right? And do you sometimes think? I sometimes believe that they get paid to drive this narrative, including this Graham Soras Souness, right? You know,
Yeah, I
they
think
pay
it's
him
a
to
bit
say,
unfair.
be this person. And if you look at the TV show, what's it called? Jesus Christ, Ted Lasso. They actually did the character of Roy Keane, calling the other guy, the manager, Roy. Roy, Oi. So Roy, mean is Keane. I like Roy Keane, but at the end of the day, like, if you're gonna provide criticism, just go in a little bit more harder on calling the shit that we have. Like, call Luke Shaw out. Like, what about his injuries? They're talking about Martial. What about Luke Shaw? What about Scott McTominay, the golden goose? Nobody goes in on him, to be honest, right? Maguire, everyone's like sympathy. Oh, poor Maguire, poor Maguire. But if you're a captain, ex-Manchester United captain, you can see with your own eyes what's wrong with this team and call it out. That's what I want to see, more balanced, Mark.
Yes, and it's 100% so. I mean, people might have an opinion of me and my opinions on Rashford, but my opinion go across the board in my opinion because I'm not English. So I look at Manchester United, everyone playing for Manchester United as Manchester United players. Oh,
Wait, oh yeah, you froze. You look
oh,
at
my bad.
you,
I
yeah,
don't I don't I look at everyone as a Manchester United player. I don't care whether they're Spanish, French, German, Dutch, African.
dude,
I don't care.
dude.
You're a
I think
Manchester
there was,
United player.
I
And
think
if
there
you're
was
playing
Rashford.
badly, you have to get criticized. If not, you know,
Oh, when you froze there, I thought it was Rashford mixing with your Wi-Fi settings there. Just
probably.
no, but listen, I'm not having a dig at and Rashford or anything. I just see what's not working with the team and what's currently working, not working. Like, I'm not a player FC, never been. I'm just a team FC. I want what's best for the club, and every Tom, Dick, and Harry can see what's wrong with this club. And if Sir Brailsford's sitting there and doing a strategic review with, who's going to keep the job, 100%, it's going to be unknown who's going to be here in the club next season as well. So, and part of the problem right now is the inconsistency of Rashford. When he did like this, he's really pissed me off. If he did that last season when he scored 30 goals, yeah, I could swallow that. That's fine. You have the credits in the bank to do this, so shush, right? Even Maguire, when he did like also this, like, the I'm bigger than the club, or my head is big, and this is what pissing fans off. Like, Jesus Christ, this season, read the room, Marcus. You're not doing yourself any favors. Performance on the pitch is what we look at, and you liking and tweeting Jadon Sancho's stories together with Luke Shaw is basically showing who is the leaks and the player power in that room. What's been the
Exactly,
problem?
because they're not helping the manager, a manager who's backed you through it all this season. The manager has backed him the most. That kills me. You know what I mean? It shows the lack of decorum of some of those players, the lack of loyalty, for a manager who's backed you and defended you while everyone else was down on you. You know what I mean? We all understand your friends, these players. You grew up with him. You have a good relations. You all play for England. That's awesome. You know what I mean? But in public, you have to also have respect for your manager. You can't undermine him.
Yeah, but
And
at the same time, you had this culture at United that every player outlasts the manager. Like, they survived 6 different managers over 6 years period or 7 years period. Because they know they are asset players and they will always be, asset before the manager. Manager is so cheap to pay off and get rid of. Like, just have to pay the rest of his severance, pay like 15, 20 millions, and put an NDA shush. Like, you're not allowed to speak what they did to Jose, what they did to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and after 2-3 years they're allowed to speak, and only then you can hear the shit show that went on when they were managers. So yeah, you can always listen to them, right? What you saying, Jarvis Cocker? What you saying? Rashford focus has shifted. He seems more preoccupied with celebratory gestures and displaying attitude rather than keeping his head down and concentrated on football. True, but as I called it out the other day, when you actually look at the Spurs game, he did not even celebrate Højlund's goal. And when he scored, it wasn't even a smile. It was like, look at me, it's me, I'm back. Like, shut up, like, this. And this what pissed me off. He was that Højlund goal. I was the first one else to call it out, but then a lot of people and fan channels also called it out. Like, that goal was never intended. He was intended to shoot because he was cutting in and he almost collided with
he
Højlund.
did collide.
He
The
did,
ball
and then
bounced off the defender and
yeah,
Højlund. It just happened that Højlund was there and he just took it with him
and he
and picked
smashed
up
it
his
in.
shoulder and smashed it in.
What
You know
kind
what
of
I mean?
scraps is the Højlund living on then? If you have one player cutting in, you're supposed to be a winger, but you want to be the star boy, right?
Exactly.
And then you
And
have a
this is
young
the problem.
20-year-old that's trying to do everything. Like, Jesus, just give me the ball. And if you only give him the ball, he will score, right?
Mhm.
Give the ball more.
Look at what Yali is saying here. Rashford as a winger has had 42 shots this season. Højlund as a striker has had 20. What is wrong with that picture? Everything.
True. scored 5 times in Champions League. How many goals in Prem right now? Two or
Two.
three?
And
Two.
two goals and one assist in the
Right.
Premier League.
I know when me and Jarvis did a the transfer window show when we had expectation, we didn't set expectation for Hoyler. We said, we don't expect him. Do expect him to score 11 goals this season, and that is just the beginning, right? Because he's still young, right? So if you look at his trajectory, he hasn't been a senior footballer for that long. Like we're talking 2 years from his trajectory, went from Copenhagen to Sturm Graz, and from Sturm Graz, like in a 1.5 season in Atalanta. But such a talent, right? Raw talent. But the specimen, we've seen what he can do. He's explosive, he's fast, his athleticism, the way he can hold up and shield the ball, and he can shoot. Jesus, that speed as well. Mario Cardo, Paul Scholes, the only man will lead United to glory days. 100% Paul Scholes, Scholesy.
I was always shocked Paul Scholes never became part of the coaching staff for some reason because his football mind was genius. His touch.
Yo, every time you touch, I get a feeling. Anyway,
Like I don't know if it's just me, but in a moment, the people talk about Fergie time, right? In the dying moments of the game was Paul Scholes' time for me,
oh yeah, what's Paul Scholes?
Because once Paul Scholes get that ball, you know a goal coming.
Da-na-na-na, da-na. It's Scholes time. That's it. Yeah, guys, let us know in the comments if you're watching this regarding everything what we talked about. Rashford, Bruno, you argue to the point they all have to go at some point. And I wouldn't cry if they sell those two priced assets to start over fresh. As we discussed earlier, my personal opinion is that we need to fix that midfield first before we even look at the striker department. And currently, Mark, you have a big crush on our number 11 that you believe is going to come back in this summer. That is a striker we don't have to spend money on. But on the other hand, this fan base is split and broken. And some people say we need more experience up there. Do we need more experience up there? We tried that everything. We tried it.
Experience, you want talent, you want raw ability, you want somebody who will take on the game.
Yeah.
Just make a phone call to get Taffy and get MG.
Yeah. But my point here, Mark, is you can agree to disagree, but we tried every star quality striker. That didn't work. We brought in Lukaku. That didn't work. We brought in Zlatan. That didn't work either. Yes, he was a beast, King Zlatan. Yeah, but he wasn't. He was also starving. He was also driving deep to get the ball and just trying to finish it off own. The thing is, I was watching the pundit Schmeichel talking about Højlund. He said, he can create his own chances, and when he creates the chances, he scores. Right. So that's a proper striker. But if you start feeding him more, finding the patterns of play with the striker as a focal point, then of course he's going to score 30 goals per season, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
was the common denominator, guys, in the chat with Højlund, Ronaldo, and even Zlatan and Cavani? All of them had one common denominator, and why we calling it a graveyard shift. Man on the left, don't supply them. And for me, a winger supposed to provide a supply. That's the whole reason we call them a winger.
It's demand and supply, isn't it? And the winger's job, what is that? To attack and put in crosses in the box, and sometimes, cut in and shoot, right? Create opportunities for the striker, both left and right. But what do we have here? We call it inverted striker. What would you call it? Inverted winger / striker?
Well, I mean, okay, in my opinion, I define them as forwards. A striker for me is a number 9. And that means he's a goal scorer. From the time you deviate from that being your primary function as a striker, for me, it's become a forward, like Gabriel Jesus. He's not a goal scorer, in my opinion. His best attribute is linking up with the other players around him and creating. So in my opinion, he's a forward, not a striker. So Rasmus for me is a striker. Rashford for me is more of a forward who could develop into a striker.
Sorry about that. We have a super chat coming in from Peter Wood. Big up, here comes the super chat. Guys, Thank you so much. Where is that super chat? Can you find that super chat? I can see it on the screen. Here it is. Oh, here it goes. Sorry about that. Automation does play a trick. What Peter Hood is saying. Thank you for your $5 contribution. Rashford always been overrated. Should have been cashed in 2 years ago, according to Mr. Hood's comment. Uh, Bruno, huge problem. No discipline needs to go ASAP. Yes, Peter, that is a valid point because Jarvis has been saying that as well. Like, those two cannot work together. You cannot play Rashford and Bruno together because that's too much of a risk. They both lose balls. Like, Rashford's taking on three players, get dispossessed, and we get hit on the counter, and then Bruno does the same. So
Oh,
you have a point, guys.
I think I
Mark,
think
your comments.
I think the problem with Bruno is like I agree with the comment, with Rashford because I was saying since 21-22 we got offered 90 million from Paris Saint-Germain. We should have took
And we
that and
rejected.
ran. You know what I mean? Should have took that and ran. But with Bruno, for me, it's like I've seen Bruno would play with Portugal so many different times. And the one thing I could see that we lack is a very intelligent left winger who could run the channels and read the game. Because when a player could read the game, most of the balls that Bruno goes that yes people let's call Hollywood passes that go and we wouldn't lose those balls because Bruno would get them to that player because they would read where he want them
Mhm.
to be. And that's a big thing in the football game because a lot of players don't read where they need to be. They stand in a position and wait for the ball to come to run to the ball.
Yeah. I mean, we just look clueless at the moment. Like we just look like what to do. Like so, we are waiting for the service of Bruno to do something. We are everyone waiting for Rashford to do something. I mean, this is the thing. Like, and if you look at Garnacho, he doesn't stand still. He attacks. He challenging his fullback. You know, but Rashford, he goes, let me do the Rashford thing, and people kind of gang up on him, right? Or sometimes he just stops, just looks around, and just passes backward, right? So yeah, big up for your comment there as well. And please, if you do watching, we are coming to the end of the show as well. Uh, Please give us a thumbs up. You know what I mean. Like and subscribe if you haven't. What's more important is that you do this thumbs up, and for the Glazers, you do this one. And but more than likely, we like this one for this community and this video. Sorry for this raw humor. You know what I mean.
100%.
Simpson, what you're saying here.
Rashford is from Whitenshaw. When I was a kid, we had a day out at Sharston Bass, Whitenshaw, miles away from Manchester.
Yeah. Anyway, so it is what it is. We are forever gonna argue about this, but at the end of the day, I don't see this squad being the same squad next season or season after. We
Future
are
is bright.
If we are led to believe on this path with the current establishment, they are looking to reshape everything, including internal staff, to create a lean machine, like a lean organization, including winning at all costs. So, yeah, if that is the promise, I'm up for it. But for now, we have to scrutinize everything and just point fingers. You can point fingers left, you can point fingers right, you can have arguments. At the end of the day, like, you as a fan, it's what matters what you think. That is your truth, guys.
100%.
Mark, what's going on the transfer market at the moment? Any newspaper talk other than Benzima, or are we just forget about everything? Is just paper talk, paper
Well,
talk.
the only new news is that Serge Garassi has told Stuttgart boss that he no longer wants to move. He wants to stay in Germany,
Oh,
and he
okay.
wants to continue until the rest of the season. For now, another part report about Serge Garassi is the biggest thing for me. His release clause at 15.2 million pounds has just expired. So now, if you
Oh,
want to get him, the Stuttgart could practically slap on another 20-30 million pounds, and you're going to have to pay for that.
oh, is Garasi the striker that we really, really wanted for? I mean, everything that I see right now is being reported for the summer, so it's irrelevant, right? If we're going to get something, it's probably going to get a panic buy at the end of the January window. But if we are going for a striker, is Serge Garasi really the answer, right?
I
Is he?
mean, if people like Victor Osimhen, I'm pretty sure they're gonna like Serhu Garassi because he's not much different. Like their posture is similar, the way they play is quite similar. I just think that Serge Garassi is, he has a different, more for me, a little bit more silky than
Hmm.
than, than Osimhen. I think Osimhen has a way about him. He's more rough, like he could. break out physically through tackles and things like that. Plus, he have good touches as well. But
Yeah,
Serge Grass, he have a more finesse to Victor
yeah.
Osimhen. They're similar.
But on the other hand, the hype of Osimhen, like that was really hot. He had a really good season, and then summer came, and I haven't heard much about his about Osimhen this season, 2024, right? So, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, Sanjay, as well. How you doing, Lilies United? I feel I will better play Mick winger than Mark forward. You want me as a winger? I used to be a number 11. I used to be a left winger. True that. Left winger when I played football. I played the game, like Mark Goldbridge used to say as well. But you know what? Osimhen, overhyped, I think, overvaluated, another 150 million, not for us. I don't think we're going to sign a 100 million player. I mean, in terms of transfer market, we got to be smart. We got to sign those, like we say, we had the chance with Marcus Leonardo, you know what I mean? For 17 million and then sell him on for 100, like typical what Benfica is doing, right? Benfica are not mugs, right? Benfica is a benchmark, right? What they're doing. They're buying up this bloody good scouting, bloody good targets. They're buying them for cheap and then they sell them for 100 million, 120. Rui Costa will not budge on that one. So they are
100%.
smart, 100%. So this is what I want Manchester United to revert to if we are doing a makeshift, buy good players, talent, have a good scouting network, and just don't go for the clear and obvious shirt seller, right? If you're going to spend 150 on Osimhen, damn, you can buy 5 players for that price. You know what I mean?
100%. 100%. And this is why I say, Serge Grassi might be an option because he's not going to cost 100 million by any means. And, he provides probably the same thing you would get from Osimhen. And he was at a price that, we could have take the risk, and since that has expired, this is why I'm saying, maybe we just go and snatch we do a 6-month deal that
Mm.
temporary and we focus on the summer. Other than a striker coming in, we have young players, a crop of midfield youngsters coming through. And even though we loaned out 1 or 2 of them, we still have others like Dango Jr. still here. So I would give Dango Jr. some minutes. Amad Diallo has been told by Eric Ten Hag personally that he is going to get guaranteed game time in the coming few games. So it's one of those things where you could look forward to some of the youth that you all want to see play getting some minutes. Willie Kwambala has also been promised minutes by Eric Ten Hag. So it's one of those things where you could look forward to those things. And Palestri has given the green light to the club interested in signing him right now, which is Granada, and we're just waiting for Manchester United to give the green light along with Granada on it.
Pastry. Do you think that there is a good move for Pelistri? I mean, we're looking at, of course, I'm excited for our young academy players to get in to elite clubs like Sevilla, for Hannibal, for Facundo Pelistri to Granada. I don't know if that's such a good move, but we also see Benfica, Alvaro Fernandes. These are good top clubs, right? You get proper development, but Granada, they didn't play Fernandes that much, did they? And they're kind of, where are they sitting in the league? I'm not really following the Spanish La Liga. Do you see where they're sitting?
I think they're in like 9th right now. They were doing well, but of course they just lost Alvaro Fernandez, who was one of their top players this season. He wasn't getting game time in the first few games, but in the last 12 games,
Yeah,
he's
it was
been one of their
mint.
main starters, key to their team. And you know what? I think it's one of those things where we don't have to stress too much. We also had a youth striker who was sold to Sevilla. I think his name is Marco Mejia,
Yeah, yeah,
talented
Maya.
youngster. But, like I said, he wasn't at the level. There's younger
Mateo
players.
Maya.
Mateo Mejia.
Mateo Maya, yes. He was also, yeah. But here's how this interlinked, in a way. We retracted the loan for Fernandes to get his development at Benfica. At the same time, to compensate, we said, here's Pelistri. But it's kind of Pelistri's choice because it was also linked to PSV. I would say that, I don't know, Dutch league, Spanish league, is a Spanish speaker, natural speaking. Of course, there will be more closest to roots. I bloody go there and play, enjoy my paella and cerveza and por favor. You know what I mean?
Warm weather.
Go,
Hey,
madam.
and
Hey.
and let's be honest, guys. I think Ahmad offers the something different going forward than Anthony doesn't than Anthony, which is
Mm.
a good pairing for having two right wingers because you don't want two right wingers that do the exact same thing. You want to be able to change the game sometimes in the same position. So, I think having him and Anthony compete for that position, then you have, Rashford competing with Garnacho. I think that's a easy thing for me because
Yeah.
you know what? If Ahmad could bench Anthony, I think we have seen that Garnacho could bench Rashford. So this is the kind of competition you want. You know what I
Yeah, man.
mean?
Yeah, man. But at the end of the day, I can see the comments. Amad Diallo looks like at the moment he's not going on loan, so that means that the manager has them in plan in development. We spoke about Dango Jr. yesterday in a podcast yesterday as well. Another talent that is super super good. He's as it looks like they're also retaining him in the club. Ten Hag has spoken that he only wants to retain future world beaters. And I understand that if you are selling off young academy talent, it's pure profit and doesn't really count on the FFP because it's generating pure revenue, and that is potentially the new strategy. What you're seeing that they're putting in buyback clauses, earn out clauses, not the kind of things like option to buy. Um, but I would hate to see to lose that Pelistri 100%, and that's what I see. Anyway, Mark just disappeared. I think where did Mark go? What happened to Mark? Mark, are you there? He just disappeared. No, he just disappeared. Somebody kidnapped Mark. I don't know. Somebody just kidnapped Mark. There he is. Did aliens fucking kidnap you, mate? You just disappeared.
No, no, no. I just
You
had to
did
turn
another. You
something
did
off.
another Chinese snail mail, did you?
No, no, no. I was just
Anyway,
cooking something, so I had to just open the
good
oven
stuff.
1 second.
Okay, at least you were Ten Hag. You can cook some wins for us. Anyway, guys, it's so beautiful. Gihan Ois Pelisti is not a favorite of Eric Ten Hag. Yeah, that's what's been reported. What do you have to do? He's never been given the chance. Same with Donny van de Beek. I feel sorry for Donny van de Beek. Remember, the whole story was never given the chance, and when he did, he got injured, and we just wasted 3 years of the poor chap's career. So yeah, get him out, get him on loan, get him out to play. That's what footballers are for. They want to play football. Yep.
Yeah, and for my honest opinion about the Palestri comment that we just see there, I think it's hard, it's tough for the player, you know what I mean, and for some fans who are fans of Palestri and like him. But let's be honest, if a manager doesn't rate a player, it's not the end of the world, you know what I mean?
Thomas Swedjunes from Gothenburg, Sweden, comes in with a very good question. That might be the last question of this stream. Big up for all of you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We've been 1 hour and 16 minutes into this show. We're supposed to do 1 hour, but we're going over because it's a fan and forum community. The question what Thomas is asking, Mick, what would you think reasonable summer what do you think is a reasonable this summer transfer? Do you have any player that you really would like to get? Good. First and foremost, to answer that, I would like the loanees youngsters to do well on the loans to be developed, retract them, give them a chance in the summer. That is a savings. We're talking about potentially Magebury, right? We're talking about potentially Pelistri. Alvaro Fernandes is a left back because we've seen that Luke Shaw's hamstring is kind of given up, injury prone. So, what about Malacia? We haven't seen him. What's wrong with Malacia, right? So we need Alvaro Fernandes. I see us getting a centre back. Don't know who, but I would rather bolster in that midfield. 100%. Get rid of Scott McTominay, Harry Maguire. Get rid of the Deadwoods, and look from there. Who's out there? I don't know. Midfield, we need ballers. We've been linked to Actually, that was closed down. The Benfica's what's his name? Neves. Neves is good talent.
Oh, João Neves. João
Jean
Neves.
Neves as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have to examine the squad, like you say, in the rest of the season, see what the youngsters we sent out on loan have done, and then make some decisions based on that. But we have to do it early, in my opinion. I would like us to start the
Mm.
summer hot, red hot.
Hot. Red
All
hot.
the exits out one time at the beginning, first
To
week.
be honest to answer your question, sure, I don't have any preference, but I want us to do the business early. I want us to
Mm.
identify the targets ASAP as soon as you get a sporting director in or a recruitment director in, and you can plan and just get those targets in, like, ducks like that, so we
Yeah,
can kick
yes,
off with a proper preseason, so everyone can be on board, like, because
exactly.
United
And
have never remember when was the last time United had a full squad for preseason? Never, never. So we technically never have a preseason.
yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Gihan Oates. You know what I mean? Like, Palestri has done well, in my opinion, as well. Like, I like him. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But like Mick would like to see Hannibal Medbury. And if I was to give my opinion, I think he's sort of average. I'm happy to sell him. You know what I mean?
But
But
how
so
can you
it's
say
like,
average? He hasn't really been given chances, like, really, So
um,
that's what I'm saying. Watch them on this development loan, right? Going to Sevilla, it's a good game, right? It's a good club.
it's a
You
good
watch,
club. I mean, he
you
could
watch
develop
Alvaro
and prove me
Fernandes
wrong.
playing, like, for Benfica, top club in Europe as well. And that's what I want to say. At the end of the day, like, bring them back, assess the situation, fix that bloody midfield first and foremost, and potentially get in a Greenwood back in there, and potentially look for another striker. My favorite striker right now, my favorite striker. You know who my favorite striker is?
Karim Benzima, Erling Haaland.
No, Jesus Christ, no. Benjamin
Oh,
Sesko.
Benjamin Sesko. I was just about, it just hit me just now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I like
mean,
Benjamin.
I like him as well. I think he provides everything that we're looking for. He's tall, strong, he's fluid on the ball, very good, can create chances as well. And I think he has that 2 year experience on Rasmus Hoyland that he is missing right
Hmm.
now. But I kind of still think Rasmus has the higher ceiling just because of what I've seen him do
Yeah,
and what I've
but
seen the
I
two
kind of
players do.
I kind of understand what Chelsea's doing. Like, they totally did, but they did it the wrong way. They bought a new squad in a way, but just youngsters. That is for the future, right? So that is kind of where they are, and this I think that United is going to as well. But we have an aging midfield in terms of Bruno, in terms of Ericsson. Still, we need to sort of get young blood in there, hungry young blood, like, ballers in there, and then start from there, build from the back midfield, and go up forward. So, man, we're gonna judge it in the summer, 100%. But at the moment, United is where United is. I don't trust, to be
Hundred
honest.
percent, 100%. Like Tom Burich is saying here, I would sell everyone I can this transfer window. I'm not buying anyone. Push academy players, then do some real stuff in the summer transfer window. Two
That's
quality
what I'm saying
signings
too.
is a good start. Respect to all. Big up
Yeah.
to you, bro. Big up to you.
Tommy Burrich, you actually spoke the same language what I did, I think, in a way. So big up to you. So that's what I would like to do as well. Build from the youth, build from the talent that we have. That doesn't cost you anything, and then you can sort of add on, like, for the if you have 200,000, just buying quality, like a little bit more mature, that could actually nurture these kids at the same time. So it's a balance of mature players and young players.
To be fair, if I was
Yeah.
United, if I had to spend 150 and let me say 180 million, I being honest, right, guys? There's like 5 to 10 players I see on the market about like, for like about 20, 30 million. I would buy about three of them. So that would be 90 million. 3 players. I'll probably be
Oh,
two center backs and a midfielder. Then I would go and get Rabiot on a free. I would get
Rabiot,
Frankie
not
De
again.
Jong. I would get Frankie De Jong for 90 million. I
Oh,
would
Frank.
give him
Okay.
90 million and get Frankie De Jong. I know I could do
Jesus,
that
stay
deal.
away from the Rabiot again.
Bro, Rabiot is
Yeah,
a good
Rabiot.
player. Trust me,
Yeah,
what I'm saying. I could have
Tesco.
Rabiot is the opposite of Frankie De Jong on the right side. So what Frankie De Jong is playing on the left,
Yeah,
Rabiot is playing on the right, but it's basically
yeah,
similar. So if he injured, he could bring in Rabiot next to Kobe. You know what I mean? And try get a striker like maybe
yeah.
like a Benjamin Sesko or
Right,
something.
right. Guys, if you're watching this, Marcin, big up to you. We should loan Hugo Etikeke from PSG. We should loan Hugo Etikeke from PSG.
TK.
Good one. Good one. Curl's problem is quality play cost, and we have to fight for teams. So, yeah, it's true. We're nowhere near, like, depends on where we finish. If we finish top four, no Europa League, Champions League, dude, just play game, play ball, and see what happens in the summer. I agree. But just to summarize before we end this stream, I saw we spoke about Karim Benzima. we spoke about the rumors of him coming. His agent is saying he's looking around, talking to clubs. He's refusing to go back to preseason training in Dubai. But there's also conflicting reports to say that he will come back to Al Ittihad, and who's going to pay his 400k wages. Another thing is also regarding Martial, what we started with. His agent has also come out to speak to say that Martial ain't going anywhere. He's going to go and abductor hip replacement, not hip replacement, but hip surgery, which is a short hip injury, and he ain't going nowhere till he's fit. So basically, he's saying, I'm going to stink up the place, and I'm going to still contractually getting paid 290k a week. Big up Martial and his agent. On the other hand, that's where we are at the moment. And also, to summarize, we spoke about Roy Keane giving criticism, hard criticism for Bruno Fernandes of his zonal awareness, and he's killing us. He's basically, what did he say? You're killing us. What did he
hurting
say?
us, and you should be class first, but you're hurting us. That's what he
Yeah,
said.
yeah, yeah.
And I think
Now he said you're killing us, you're costing us, and Roy Keane being Roy Keane, the former captain, the
sending out big old
hardball.
boot up the bum for him to get
Yeah,
him right on track. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Doing what captain did.
right. And we spoke a little bit about the transfer market, what we believe is going to happen. Barring the Martial potentially not leaving, I don't see us having any budget at all to sort of do anything in January. I think everything is planned for the summer. It is survival mode football at the moment. It's going to be haram football, some people might call it. We still scrutinize Ten Hag for the style of play, but at the same time, you can understand they're pulling the rug out of his feet, say we are taking out your priced asset and play what you got. So we do expect to see McTominay. But I do want to see like Casemiro back in and Licha back in. Will these things change? Let's hope so. Let's be some positive, guys. Anyway,
100%.
that's all for today. That's all what we had to say. There's nothing more to report out there. It's kind of dry. It's AFCON still, and there's plenty of football to be played there. If you'd like AFCON, um, who's your favorite team in AFCON, by the way,
Right
mate?
now, well, I was thinking I was supporting Ghana, because my barber in Germany, he's a Ghanaian guy, and he real cool and thing, But I feel like I'm switching allegiances to Mali because
Oh,
Mali, they playing the
Mali.
kind of football I like to see. Exciting football. They look hungry. You know what I mean? They're trying things. And they came away. They coming away with a victory.
Mali? Oh,
Mali, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Why not? Why not?
Mali
The
beat
underdogs
Cameroon 2-0.
it's kind of a little bit of an underdog story. But who's tipped to be favorites here?
Teams like Morocco, probably
Morocco.
even Egypt, maybe, and Senegal will be top teams. You know what I mean?
Mo Salad. Yeah, 100%. Anyway, guys, when is the next FA Cup
On
that
the
is in 2 weeks?
28th, Sunday, the
28.
28th of January.
So in a way, it's good. We have still a little bit of break. Get together as a community, talk. There is no football. That means there's no scandals. But do expect that media is going to write a lot of things regarding this Sheikh Yassim and everything else and the bids, and it's going to be a shower shitstorm. And the league specialist there, Lockhurst, is going to be out there again. You know what I mean?
100%.
We've seen this movie before.
All
But
the time.
before we continue, before we round up, and thank you. This has been Mark Nurse on the M, right? And the other one here on this side is M also, Mick and
Ruby.
Mark, M and M. What we want you to do right here, right now, if you're watching, do the thumbs up, smash the like if you haven't. I repeat again, it's so important for YouTube algorithm. It's not about how many subscribers, it's not how many viewers. The more likes and comments you leave in the comment section, the better for the YouTube algorithm, because it recognizes positive and it will promote this video to other Manchester United supporters. So thank you for all your support. Thank you, Mark Nurse. Any final words before you die?
Well,
I'm
I'm not
sorry.
gonna die, but I wanted to say to Illis that why I'm telling you I could get the De Jong deal over the line because I'm always in Amsterdam, bro. So I know.
Agent Mark in the house. Anyway, guys, big up for you. Have a fantastic Thursday. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. We're not doing any streams tonight, so this is the only stream that we're doing on this channel today. It's been M&M. We call us M&M, and we're still waiting for Mark's rap being the M&M, what he promised us to do. One day it will come. One day. Big up for all of you. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you, all the support, all the moderators, all the legends that are here. in this afternoon show. So moving forward, Mark, what we're going to do here, based on time difference, we're going to do this more regularly on this time scale in the late afternoon. If there's any morning update show, maybe Mark will do it in the morning, or maybe it will just be a video release. But do expect on Mondays, Wednesdays, Friday to be evening shows with the rest of the team. Until now, enjoy your Thursday, people, right? That's all, folks. That's all, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah,
This is the
and
end.
thank you guys for joining us. We hope you all have a great evening. You know what? It's been your boys, Mick, Ruby, Mark N, MUFC fan. This has been MUFC Realist TV, and you know it's Beat the Press, but the evening edition, guys. Have a
Yes.
good day. Don't forget to check out Jarvis's
Did you
show,
say be depressed?
Beat the
Oh,
Press.
beat depressed.
Be
I heard it
depressed,
wrong.
Mick.
Don't
Do
be
you see the
depressed.
smile? Do you think I'm ever depressed? Look at his
Never.
face.
Okay.
You know.
Big up to community. Thank you. Glory, glory, Manchester United. Bankers out, Glazers out, and all that jazz. That's all, folks. Thank you for watching. See you to the next one. Bye for now.
That's all, folks.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.